I denne omgang af Oldtimers skal vi høre fra 6 tidligere udenlandske profiler i dansk basketball. Vi skal høre fra Otis Loyd, James Martin, Tony Marion, Thibodeau, Todd Anthony og Mickey Dennis. Og i denne udgave af Oldtimers fortæller de tidligere ligaprofiler om deres bedste medspillere og modstandere.
The best player I played with is obvious. It's Thomas Rude Peterson. He's the reason I came back here year after year. He sacrificed what he may have been able to get from the club so I could come back because he enjoyed playing with me and I enjoyed playing with him. And he's the best player that I've ever played with.
The best player by far is Christian Dreyer. So playing with Christian in his last year before he left was phenomenal. To see that, see him grow. And I remember that first game of the year. We knew he was good at practices, but we didn't know how good. We went and we played at Bakken that the first game of the year. We were down by 20 at halftime. Christian came out in the second half and scored, 30-something in the second half, and we won by 1 point.
Jeff McRae, which I have to say, he taught me a lot of things. He was older at the time, but he taught me a lot of things like positioning and how to get open without the ball.
Of course, Marvin Black, he was a little crazy, but that guy physically, he could do it, so many things. I mean, he would give you one of those ooh-ah moments almost, every other practice, jump from almost the free throw line. Of course, I think talent-wise, Brandon Thomas, talent-wise, has NBA potential talent-wise.
First off would probably be Christian Jakobsen. Played with him in Hairloo, and you look at him, he's just this little white guy, a little smile on his face. He's not overly fast. He doesn't jump, You're kind of like, huh? And at the end of the day, he's got like 26, and you're like, what?
Teammates was, Jesper Hauge, absolutely, from a work ethic and just on the court, off the court, just a great person, and just his dedication to himself and to the sport.
Well, I played with Andreas as a young player, which when you play with him, you have to have energy because Andreas loves to run, and I mean, at that age, he just ran all the time, and you had to be in shape because you knew when he get the ball, it was.
As far as the Danish players, I would probably say that playing with Henrik, playing against Fleming there at that time period, they were some of the best players that I played against on that time period. Ebbe Salling, very, very good player. Fleming Absalon from VB was a pretty good player. When I say very good players, I mean those guys come out and play consistently. You have to they'll do their job pretty much day in and day out.
The best player and the most difficult to play against, the American, was actually Eric Bell. I mean, his quickness was unmatched.
The best player that I've played against would have to be Jimmy Moore. His IQ for basketball was just really high, and I really loved playing against him because he seemed to bring the best out of me.
I actually did not like matching up against Jeff McRae that much, and I did not really like matching up against Tony Marion that much, and it's because they were sort of stretch forwards who could shoot the ball. I would rather play against Mikkel Langer, for example, who's a big, huge guy who can play, but he's going to do things that I find predictable.
You have Michael Williams, who could just score like crazy. You have Pete Hoffman, and we're really some of those. And Vincent Ray. And if we look at the Danish players, I mean, you've got Joachim Jericho and Niels Bjerregaard.
Michael Cuffey from Bakken. Tremendous athlete, really good player,
Defensively, Nikolai Iversen. He was young at the time, but, he gave me a run for my money every time.
Of course, Janelle's always a good guy to go against. You're always surprised at what he can do and his little motor, he's always the guy can go, he don't get too tired.
Craig, obviously, was a great player, a great shooter, Craig Peterson. Jeff McRae was a guy I played against a lot. He was tough. And as we got older, it got tougher because you get slower, but Jeff's jump shot got better. So he was going further from the basket, but it took me longer to get to him.
Here's my matchup problem. When they put me at the 5 to defend the 5, and I just throw some names at you, Mikkel Langer, Jonas Pohl, Mikkel Niebling. That was a bad problem with me being, just if I'm 6'6", playing against guys that were legit 6'10", 7-footers. Sometimes size, you couldn't get around it in certain situations in a game. So